Hi guys. So I'm gonna do today's reading. It's the main thing that's been going on with Trump. He's been kind of in hiding and so forth. There's been a lot of lawsuits. They're all seem to be getting thrown out. I think there may have been one that may have been successful, but it only maybe accounted for a little bit of something. But pretty much everything's getting thrown out. And obviously Giuliani with the hair dye or spray, whatever that was, my feel on things like that is spirit, when they want to make an example of people, they can really make fools of them. I want you to kind of think of the back of the day with Jim and Tammy, when they were being very corrupt, they had a whole lot going on. And then obviously Jim Baker got caught in the affair with the one lady. Her name escapes me at the moment. There was a whole lot of chaos going on, and then Tammy Faye Baker would cry, and it would be these crocodile tears with all the mascara running down her face, and they were just made fools. And that's what spirit does. If people are corrupt or various things, they can make fools of them. Just like when Joe Biden, the election was called for him, and for some reason, you know, Giuliani and the people ended up at the Four Seasons landscaping. How they pulled that off. And then they had to do the thing there. So that, in between a crematorium and a sex toy store. So, Spirit has a way of making, people look like absolute fools. So that's kind of what's going on. But kind of like, what's going on? Is Trump ever going to concede? Are there just going to be more lawsuits? What is coming? So we're going to kind of talk about that. And we're going to do the social deck. I like to just call it the social deck, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. It's a really good deck for dealing with those issues. But let's get going on. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. And Joe Biden's been, he's been a good sport about it. He's sticking with his guns and everything. But I feel even I did see a poll. It's not a whole lot, but there are even some Trump supporters who were saying, that he just needs to accept defeat. But of course, there are still a lot of Trump supporters who are like, no, they have this dream of him still being in the White House. And, and it's not his house anymore. And, I believe that Biden's going to be sworn in Inauguration Day, hell over high water. It's going to happen somehow. So let's see what, Tarot has to say. And it's funny, I do, guys, if I do a nice spiritual video, healing and trauma, it only gets a few views. But when I do my Trump videos, everybody has to see it. And sometimes I get a little bit of hate. But just like the one, I got a lot of hate on, will Trump be able to flip the election? But it got a lot of views. So it's all good. It's all good. That's just the way it is. All right, let's see what's going on. But yeah, Giuliani, he looked ridiculous. He looked ridiculous in that one with the hair dye, just sweating. And, oh, my God. But Trump, I really feel, he's really down. And I'd kind of, Spirit, I would like to know a little bit about his feelings. Is it sinking in? That's kind of what I want to know. Is it sinking in, or has he really not accepted reality here? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Okay, let me try for a minute. Okay, I'd like to cut the deck. I'm going to cut it this way. All right, let's see. What's the very first card in this saga? Okay, if you guys ever saw my video the day Joe Biden got elected, okay, the King of Cups is Joe Biden for me. And look at that. He's And there was even a photo op, when he first got elected, his kids and grandkids were all hugging him, just like that. And he does have a family dog, where Trump just doesn't like dogs or something. But King of Cups, this is Joe Biden for me. He has always been the King of Cups because he is Scorpio, and that is a water sign. So, he's really, everything is centered around him right now. And I know a lot of people are focused. Is this poor man going to get sworn in Inauguration Day? I'm not surprised that he shows. So, of course, a lot centers around him. Now, I've got the Magician crossing, though. So, now, if you guys have followed my videos, the Magician, I always feel like, is Trump with his bag of tricks. What can he pull off? Can he do something with this election? Notice he's not filing lawsuits in the states he won in, right? Everything's legit there, but not Pennsylvania, not Georgia. Little bags of tricks and lawsuits in all the places where he lost. So this is where they're hitting. So that's how I've seen the Magician. And then we've got the Five of Blades, which is the battle card. You can kind of see it looks like a battle. But it kind of looks like Giuliani, doesn't it? It actually does. Look at the face on that guy. Does that look like Rudy? But that is true, though. Rudy is going to battle for him. He keeps going to court, keeps going to bat for him. He goes on the news, and he's talking about this voter fraud that is just ridiculous and is not even true. But yep, that's him. That's his face. Look at it again. Does that not look like Rudy? That's what I'm saying. And it is a battle card. It doesn't matter what casualties there are or anything like that. He's just going to continue to go for battle. Now, I do look at the Ace of Wands in the past position, and this is kind of what they're talking about. They're trying to see certain opportunities with the courts to be able to pull this off. Like, getting this idea, well, we could just go to court. We could do this. We could do that. When I kind of look at the blank canvas and so forth, we can write it any way we want, come up with our own little bits of, so-called evidence and so forth. But we do have in the past position, because the election really is over, guys. No matter how you slice it, it really is the Ten of Swords. So it's just, and when I have seen this card, look at the wall. That reminds me of the wall along the White House and so forth, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. And we've got like the various betrayal. I feel like when I look at this, Trump feels betrayed. He feels betrayed. He feels stabbed in the back. He is playing a little bit of victim here. He is playing a little bit of victim here. Isn't that what he's doing when you think about it? Oh, voter fraud, this, that. I'm a victim. And he is going to court. I am the victim of voter fraud. I am the rightful president, this and that. That's exactly what's going on and stuff. He's playing victim. So, he is the wronged one in the lawsuit. So, of course, we're going to see some of that. But, this is, let me explain something here. This is what you need to understand. And some of y'all may not like what I have to say, yet you watch my videos. Okay. Way back, and I did do a video about the post office and things that were going on. DeJoy, who was a Trump supporter, took over the post office. And they knew, that there is a pandemic. And they knew that Democrats are very conscientious and believe that there is a virus that is running rampant. So the Democrats would heavily mail in vote. They weren't going to stand in long lines at the polls in crowds. We didn't mail. I didn't mail personally, but we dropped in ballots in a box. Okay, so we've got that situation. So the majority, but Trump knew that would happen, one. Now, two, he puts into joy, to go to these post offices to slow down the mail. That's the goal. Because when DeJoy got in there, he started taking out the mail sorting machines that make the mail go faster and faster. Okay, that's what he did. He started taking them out. And that's when the government started getting involved. What are you doing, this, that? Okay, he tried to slow down the mail. This was the goal. He's a Trump supporter. That's the goal. But this is the thing. Then Trump said to his supporters, go to the polls, don't mail in your votes. Why do you think he did that? because his goal was to slow down the mail so the ballots wouldn't make it in time. They wouldn't be postmarked in time and be able to be counted. So his plan, his idea was that all these Democratic votes wouldn't make it in on time, or they would just be laying there on the floor at the USPS. But this is my theory. And I talked about this on Daily Show post. I said that I believe that the USPS workers, all of the men and women who, their mission in life is to get the mail delivered on time to you, they knew what was going on. They knew what DeJoy was doing. They knew what Trump was doing. But their job as USPS is deliver these ballots on time, so the American people's voice could be heard, what they wanted, And I feel they busted their ass to get these ballots there so they would be counted. So they, even though they had no sorting machines in some places or very little of them, and the various things that were meant to suppress the vote and hinder people from getting in their ballots, they worked their asses off against what these two were doing to get that going on. And so Trump and DeJoy failed, and those votes got counted. So that's my theory. So we owe the USPS folks, the post office people, are a debt of gratitude for what they did, because they were up against that. Okay, that's what I feel. And that's what's going on, So, of course, and if you saw my video 4 months ago, I said he would dispute the election and we would be going into this phase. But let's see what's going on here. But that's what happened. So the only one trying to suppress the vote was Trump himself and everything. And I do have the full card above. And that's what, the thing is, I noticed Giuliani is below, because we do have that everybody just looks like a fool right now. In this case, it's simply the fool. So we've got the Four of Cups, and I have talked about this. This has really been Trump's card, and notice, the offering is being there, and he's very sad. Yes, Trump is very sad. He lost this election. It's starting to sink in more and more. And I feel like this is like the advisors. This could even be his family. This man handing the water could even be Ivanka or even Jared Kushner. But various people trying to offer him and give him support, and even people trying to give him love. But they're also trying to wake him up to reality. You lost the election, inevitably you're going to have to concede. And of course, Trump's not doing that yet. He's going to do everything he can. And this, will it get to the Supreme Court? That's the thing. Now, the Nine of Coins has been a card for me. It's been a lot. I know they said a lot of women voted for Trump, but there were still a lot of women who did not, and they tend to make up a lot of the people. But I feel like, one of the things, look at the Nine of Pentacles, is she's very educated. When I've seen this card, she's very educated. She knows what's going on. She's educating herself. And I kind of look at that. And one of the things we did, especially during 2020, I feel, and even a little bit myself, because when the country seemed to be running itself, I didn't really worry about what's going on. I worried about my life. I don't want to think about what, Trump is doing, Obama is doing, or whoever. I don't really want to focus on that. I just want to focus on my everyday life. But we were all forced, especially during 2020, to pay attention to these people and what they are doing, especially the handling of coronavirus, in response and what it was doing to the economy. Right now we have, I believe it's 30 million people are threatened with eviction right now. There was another, I think 750,000 people applied for unemployment just last week. Okay. So the unemployed is growing and growing, and the Congress can't make a deal on a stimulus and get this unemployment extended. And even that, and see, I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi on that either, because I feel she should, maybe we didn't get exactly what we wanted, but if we would have got something on the table, it would have been fine. It would have been better than nothing. But now this is dragged out further and people could get evicted. Congress needs to get its shit together. No matter what side you're on, I don't care. They're both in the wrong as far as I'm concerned. And as I was just kind of talking about that temperance, which is about being patient, and it's real hard, as I was just talking about that, it's real hard to be patient during this time, waiting on the stimulus, waiting for unemployment, waiting for all that to go on. This is very frustrating. So, yes, people just being at odds and so forth, was another thing. And we just want to heal that. So Knight of Cups is in the hopes and fears. Knight of Cups is the wishing card. So, Trump is still wishing, he wants his wish to come true, that he will be able to be sworn in Inauguration Day, pull some miracle off, and he wants the good times. He had a lot of good times in the White House. Let's face it, he was able to golf, he was able to hang with some world leaders and meet people. He had, this was a fun thing until coronavirus hit. He was enjoying himself, in the lap of luxury. And then we end with the Knight of Blades. And Knight of Blades or Knight of Swords is my trump card. Just the recklessness, just being the recklessness and so forth. That has been my trump card. So we start with Biden, we end with Trump, that he's just, it's just going to be more of the same. Now, I do have the Eight of Blades I just drew next to Trump. Now, I know it's kind of hard to tell in this one because this is a very social deck. But one of the things, the main reason Trump wants to get sworn in is he's afraid of going to jail. Okay, Eight of Swords is normally a person is surrounded by swords. It can be my jail card. And I pulled this next to the Knight of Blades. So, I do feel, noting that I end Knight of Blades, but also with the Eight of Blades or the Eight of Swords, that inevitably, Trump is going to have to deal with some very significant charges. That is the way it is. And as I said that, I just drew the Nine of Blades, which is the Depression card. He knows. And notice the clock. Notice the little clock in the background. He knows his time is coming to an end. He knows deep down in his heart he can't do this. He's failing. All these lawsuits are being thrown out time and time again. Time and time again, they're being thrown out. So he is very depressed. He's worried about jail. As far as going in jail, I will probably read that along the way. Let's get Biden sworn in. Okay, let's, and I know he's going to get sworn in. I know a lot of you are like, it's not over, guys, look at the writing on the wall here. All the lawsuits that are going on and everything, and they're just all failing. And if you're a spiritualist, you need to be able to see the writing on the wall that Spirit is making a fool of these people. Okay, Spirit is really good at doing that. Giuliani with the stuff coming down. Okay, just making a fool of people. And, karma. You can't avoid it. Trump's not above the karma. He's not above the karma. He is, and people, they've almost deified him. They've almost turned him into a deity in this country. And it almost would seem like he just doesn't get caught for nothing. He still has all these followers, these people who support him. And I know it's amazing. It's amazing. And I did have a video, I don't bash Trump supporters. He's very captivating for them. He says what they want to hear. But isn't that what the con man does? He will tell you what you want to hear. But what has he done that really was, he did do some things. I guess he did a few things he promised here, there. But there was certain things. Obviously, Mexico never paid for the wall, and, that was the big thing. Mexico never paid for the wall. But yeah, the main thing in the future is not only the Knight of Blades, which is Trump's card for me, the Knight of Swords, but also the Eight of Swords next to the Knight of Swords. So he could be looking at jail time. He could be looking at a little jail time. Exactly. I mean, I have a feeling that things are going to come to surface that we didn't even know about, that we didn't have a hint about, but I feel like, of course I don't think he can necessarily pardon himself, but maybe Mike Pence can do something. There's going to be a little funny stuff, upon exiting, but he's going to exit, guys. He's going to exit, so don't worry about that, and everything. And then I just do the Three of Cups, the celebration that Joe Biden is going to get sworn in. Inevitably, and I put that on top of the Nine of Blades, Trump's depression, the sadness, of the card. That overlaps. That day is going to hit him hard. I feel I feel the day that Joe Biden is sworn in is going to be the worst day of his life, because everybody's going to be celebrating and happy and joyous. If you support Biden, of course. And, but, he's going to see, good old Sleepy Joe getting sworn in. And he's, it's going to hit him. See, so far he hasn't accepted reality yet. He is, he's the Four of Cups guy. He's shrugging off. People are trying to talk some sense. Your legacy, don't go out on a bad note. The best thing to do is just man up, just be professional and everything. This impacts you, how you look, versus being dragged out by a bunch of people, that, on Inauguration Day. You got to get the hell out. Okay. It's time to get what? You're not leaving? Well, you're out. Okay. I wonder how many people Trump ever evicted in his life from all his towers and everything, but you're out. That's the thing. So yeah, looking at, especially at the Three of Cups overlapping the Nine of Swords, that depression card. Oh yeah, it's gonna hit him hard. It's going to hit him hard. But yeah, to end with the Nine of Blades and the Eight of Swords, there's definitely gonna be some charges.